Hello, my name is John Martinez. I am the president of the Regional Hispanic Contractors Association. I am honored to welcome you to the 2020 Luna Awards and Virtual Speaker Tour. It is my honor to introduce the chairman of the Regional Hispanic Contractors Association, a woman in construction herself, Ms. Bianca Sandoval.
Thank you, John. I'm Bianca Sandoval and proud and honored to serve as RHCA chair. As a woman in construction myself, I am happy to be able to highlight and present many women in construction across the state of Texas. A special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Ferrovial Weber. And now, a moment of self-care for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited that you guys are joining us for today's Digital Luna Awards tour. I am Veronica Torres with Healthy Latina Lifestyle, and I'm here to walk us through a little self-care break for today before we get started. I know that women in construction, engineering, and architectural design are always under stress. You guys are holding it down. And for today, we wanted to introduce with our series a moment of self-care for you to enjoy at home or in the office. So I'm gonna walk you through an exercise today that you can do anywhere and you can practice just to give yourself a little relief from your everyday stress and anxiety. So wherever you're at, wherever you're seated in your office or at home, I want you to find a nice comfortable seated position in your chair, bringing your feet down on the floor without crossing your legs, getting really grounded in where you're at today. Being mindful of your surroundings and turning down any music or any distractions that you may have for the next few moments. It's super important for us to take breaks for ourselves, and today is no different. So wherever you're at and your feet are grounded, I want to also invite you to bring your hands to the top of your knees, facing up or facing down, and start to begin to bring awareness to your spine and sitting nice and tall and long, perhaps tilting your chin, elongating your neck, spine here. You want to get completely grounded and tuned into your breath and your posture when we do this. This is the next step to finding a mindful place for yourself. So once you're there, let's go ahead and bring awareness to our breath. That's breathing in through our nose and out through our nose, just as fluid as we can. No labored breath, just mindful of a natural breath that you do every day. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring awareness to that. So as you're seated in your chair, close your eyes or bring a soft gaze in front of you and begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And as you continue breathing, I want you to roll your shoulders back, get nice and tall and long, perhaps even imagining you're grounding to the floor with your feet, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Let's begin by rolling our neck side to side. You may even begin to hear some crackling, some tension there. Rolling your neck, switching over to the other side, getting a nice stretch around your neck. Again, rolling your shoulders back. Just preparing ourselves to relax and take a moment for ourselves. So once you're back to your neutral position, bringing your eyes to a soft gaze on the floor or perhaps closing your eyes, I want you to begin to bring your awareness to your breath, visualizing the breath as it enters in through the nostrils, perhaps even seeing it go into the body, circling around your body, and exhaling out through the nose. Taking a few moments here just to bring your awareness to your surroundings and relaxing. And as your eyes are closed and your breath is running nice and smooth, I want you to bring your awareness to the room that you're in. Perhaps feeling the temperature on your skin. I know that you might have thoughts running through your head, and that's normal when we're gathering to meditate and be mindful, and that's okay. Just bring your awareness back to your breath. Feel the temperature on your skin. Perhaps listen to the sounds outside of the room. You may even hear cars driving by. people talking, or if you're working from home, you may even hear the birds chirping outside. Just being mindful of what's surrounding you and what you hear outside of my voice. And just continue on breathing. Your breath is a reminder that we are alive, we are here, and what a grateful time that we have ahead of us for the next few hours. Continue breathing. Now, as we settle in, I want us to go ahead and bring a thought of gratitude to our mind this morning or this afternoon. Perhaps even think of a gesture or someone or something that brings gratitude to your top of mind. Oftentimes we wake up and we forget to be grateful of who we are, where we are, or of those people in our life. Let this moment be your reminder of gratitude. And just continue on breathing, bringing this thought to your mind. Was it something someone did this morning? Perhaps someone you saw before you got to this moment. Allowing that emotion of gratitude to fill your body, and with every breath that you take in, just enhancing that feeling throughout yourself. When we remind ourselves of the gratitude that we are gifted with, it begins to bring joy and happiness, and it also eliminates those thoughts that we no longer want to have. It's allowing yourself to say thank you. Just continue on breathing and taking in. Now, when you're ready, I want you to bring your next thought to yourself. Picture yourself right in front of you in this very moment, keeping your eyes closed, just breathing. Visualize yourself smiling back at yourself. I want you to tell yourself, thank you for showing up today. Thank you for investing in your leadership, in your time. Thank yourself for making a commitment to learn and to share and to gather in community. Notice how you feel when you show gratitude to yourself. Perhaps you feel a little lighter, a little more joy. And just continue on breathing, sitting here. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Don't cheat yourself for this moment. Don't worry about yesterday or what's to come. Just be in this moment today, right now, in full bliss of joy and gratitude with your breath, with yourself. And when you're ready, you can let that go. Breathing in, bringing awareness back to the room that you're seated in, perhaps hearing those same sounds that you did when we started. Perhaps feeling a little different, a little more grounded. Then bring your awareness back to your breath, visualizing the breath as it enters the nostrils once more, in through the nose and out through the nose. Perhaps giving more shrugs to your shoulders, rolling your shoulders back, sitting proud and excited for the day and the panel that's about to happen and about to experience together. Then go ahead and move your fingers, perhaps move your toes and open your eyes. I want to thank you all for taking a moment today to learn a little bit about self-care. Self-care is taking care of you, your life, your emotions, your breath, and enjoying a moment to just take in the awareness that's going on around you, being mindful of the gratitude that is available to you at every opportunity. I'm so excited for you to see the panel and the discussion we're about to have. And until next time, my friends, namaste. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the City of Corpus Christi, I would like to welcome you to Corpus Christi. My name is Paulette Guajardo, and I'm your City Councilwoman at large and mayoral candidate. Today is so important, and we are about to embark in a wonderful discussion with a great panel, so I'm really looking forward to that. But the Luna Award celebrates the achievements of your vision for women in construction. Your outstanding achievements are acknowledged through these prestigious awards. So today, women are breaking the ceilings in all sectors of our economy, including the construction industry, architecture, and engineering industries. And that's very important because we are setting a precedent, not only for ourselves, but for the generations to come. I think it's very important that we don't forget that part of our responsibility is to preserve and establish this precedent for the next generation. As the only female on City Council for the last 2 years, I have seen firsthand what it means to be the only woman and the difference between having other women on the team and not. Because it is an industry, if you will, predominantly made up more of men. And you see that in just even the candidates that are running. Although we had more women running in past years, or elections, it's typically men. And so I feel the responsibility to continue forging so that I continue to set that precedent, and you're doing the same thing there. The importance of representation is hand in hand with the importance of diversity and making sure that we include everyone, because then we have a true team in which decisions are made that will include all different thoughts from different people, because we're diverse. So I just want to thank you all for being here. I'm really looking forward to the panel discussions and to see how we can help one another continue to move forward, not only as leaders of the community, but leaders and women who continue to break ceilings in industries that are made up of us. So thank you so much for being here, and congratulations.
Hello and welcome to the Luna Awards digital series. We are so excited to be able to bring to you this powerful, impactful, empowering series just from the comfort of your own digital screens. So let's get right into it. As you know, when it comes to essential workers, there's no denying the critical role that people in construction play in our lives and in our communities. So join advocates, government officials, and others for this conversation about community, women walking in their power and being high vibe, impactful women, making changes in our communities. My name is Zoraida, Sionce if you're fancy, and I myself walk in my own power. It didn't come overnight. It was something that I struggled with for a long time. So I am a chemical engineer. I serve as a process engineer for a local refinery. And I remember when I first started working at the refinery, my in-laws said, "Hey, mija, we can get you a job at a bank." And it was like, no, like that's what I went to school for. But it's just our traditions or our heritage that that women are maybe not to go into the workforce or into working in fields where are more male dominated. So I serve as a process engineer, and I have been in that role for over 12 years. It's my dream job, and there women do have a smaller percentage in these engineering roles, but I think that with digital series like these and being women of impact and being role models to our young ladies, we could definitely start closing those gaps. So here with us today, we have Maria, Veronica, and Lynn, who are going to share with you their stories of how they got to where they're at and what they do. So Maria, let's start with you, beautiful. Tell us what you do, where you work, and everything you want us to know about you.
Awesome. Thank you, Zoraida. So my name is Maria Mendez. I am a principal account executive at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas. In my role, I support and strategize our mostly self-funded clients in the energy vertical with their benefits and their healthcare administration. I've been part of this industry now for 23 years, have been with a couple of global companies, and most recently in the past year and a half, joined Blue Cross Blue Shield. I initially came to this field to support our underserved communities and ensuring that our people better understood how to use their benefits and get access to health care. So that is initially how I started, and 23 years later, I am still enjoying this role very much, and now just more in a more strategic and supporting way to help in making an impact and still delivering great health care to our underserved communities.
Great, I love that. How you this is a mission from the heart, and when you do something that you're inclined to and you like to do, we're better. We serve our community a whole lot better that way. We also have with us the lovely Veronica. Veronica, tell us what you do and why you decided to do that as a career.
Oh, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much. My name is Veronica Murphy. I'm Assistant Vice President for Case Strategies. Case Strategies is an award-winning PR and marketing firm, and the services we provide are public relations, public engagement, and diversity program services. And our specialty is in the construction and transportation areas, and we work in the government sector and nonprofits. So my role at the company, I strictly focus on diversity programs. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of wonderful clients, and it's a joy for me to help and see MWBEs grow in the construction realm. And I'm open to, be there for assistance and just a listening ear, because sometimes, when you are in the trenches and working, it's just like you're overwhelmed, especially with all this COVID, issue. And so it's been rewarding, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We appreciate you. And this is, again, those non-traditional roles that us women can definitely do. And next we have the beautiful Lynn. Lynn, tell us about yourself. Tell us what you do and why you chose that career.
Good morning, Zoraida. I'm so honored to sit here and join you and Veronica and Maria. What a humble experience this is for me. And I am from South Texas. I grew up in a farming and ranching family. I have an academic background where I studied communications at the University of Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and then went on to pursue an MBA at the University of Texas McCombs School of Business. Raised two children here in South Texas who are both now attending the University of Texas in Austin. Woohoo, Longhorns. I have worked in communications for about the last 17 years. About 5 years, I had my own events planning and rental business. And then I went on to consult with a firm out of Austin, where my primary focus was working on in governmental and public relations as it pertains to grassroots issues, from eminent domain topics to natural resources. And from there, I found myself with an opportunity to go to work full-time for a firm in Austin. And unlike you, I thought I would see myself as the spokesperson for a financial institute or a energy company. And just over a year ago, I found myself working in the critical infrastructure construction industry, and I have completely fallen for this industry in a way that I could have never imagined. And I hope to sit here and talk this through with all three of you and talk about how we can and work to improve this industry and bring everything back to the true backbone of America, which is what we're all here about today.
Oh my God, great. Thank you, Lynn. I love that story. Okay, ladies. We're gonna start with Maria. Sorry, we're gonna start with Maria, and tell me how has COVID impacted your business, your business where you work, and from the worker's perspective.
Yeah, so very interestingly, right, we see our business not as a frontline workers, we're more of the backline workers, because if you stop to see and really understand our business, we process and administer the benefits and the claims for all of our plan sponsors, for our clients. And for us, that there is a great need to ensure that our systems carry out the intent of the purpose of those benefits, but more importantly, that we are processing and paying those claims accurately on the back end. So we see ourselves as the back end workers, right, of the business or of the industry. However, with the pandemic came that opportunity for us to really dig in deep and quickly adapt and pivot to figure out how we could better support our clients in that front line, from everything from, finding accessibility to testing, making sure that the results were given in a timely manner, to ensuring that they had a pathway and a recourse for their employees to follow and understand what we were dealing with as the information was coming out, whether it be from, the World Health Organization, our state or federal government, as well as the CDC. So we had to quickly adapt to taking all that information, having our internal physicians and clinicians get that information and then put it on paper in layman's terms, where then they could deliver it to us and we could easily explain it to our clients, and where they could then divulge the information to their employees. So it was a very fast-paced, again, and awesome opportunity for us to be very nimble, very quick, and assess the situation, and at the end of the day, meet that need on the ground. I feel we did a really good job at staying focused on those essential needs and what we were managing and dealing with. And in my role, I have the wonderful opportunity to actually get to go out into the fields, and during either an open enrollment time or sometimes lunch and learns, go out and get to know the people, the employees and the members we're actually impacting. So having that bottom line assessment of how we needed to communicate was very critical for us to understand, and then again put in paper and ensure that we were sharing that information with our clients. Our clients then in turn had to also get creative and figure out how they were going to disseminate that information. So a lot of our clients in the construction or the energy sector used a lot of their safety meetings to be able to every day, they have these safety meetings where they congregate before the shift starts, and they were able to divulge, tidbits of the information and educating their employees of not just the COVID-19 virus, but also what was available to them as resources internally, from a sanitation to a protective environment, as well as how to care for themselves and their family members should they need access to care. So again, very long-winded there, but very critical, I think, to the frontline and essential workers. And the work continues as we continue to learn more about this virus and how it's being handled and managed. It continues to be a learning opportunity for us to get better, quicker, and faster with the information to the end users.
Wow, amazing, Maria. I know you really had to be versatile and quick and be able to serve your clients and also the consumers. And as this just kind of came just out of left field for everyone earlier this year, I can't imagine how fast your teams had to work and get together, because you're right, streamlining and rolling down this information and getting rid of the misinformation also. So thank you for everything that you've done. We appreciate you. Veronica, same question to you. How has COVID impacted your line of business, and speaking from the worker's perspective?
Right. Well, for our company, we run all of our projects and our company by 4 core values. And those core values are: we're visionary leaders, we're humbly confident, we're problem solvers, and we're flawless executors. So because we follow those core values in everything we do, when this COVID issue hit, we were prepared. We had all of our servers in place. We didn't skip a beat. We were there to serve our clients with excellence, as we usually do, only we were doing it at home in safety, So I'm really grateful for that, and just grateful that our company had those core values for us to abide by and follow when we deal with our clients. Even with our clients, everybody had to figure it out really quickly because work still had to be done. There's still construction schedules that need to be met. And everyone, it's just amazing how you just figure it out when you're in a situation where it's new, it's a challenge. But as Maria mentioned, in construction, they have safety meetings. Communication is so key when you have issues like COVID, because first of all, there's people who don't believe that it's really an issue until you start learning, oh, so-and-so is sick, and oh, so-and-so is in the hospital, and you realize this is a real issue. We need to treat it as such, and we need to, communicate and just let people know if you know of someone who's been sick, or the whole team, I believe, needs to know in construction, because there's so many moving parts and pieces. So, so thankfully we were able to hit the ground running, and we're still doing that now. I mean, how long has it been? We've been home since March. We've been home since March, and we haven't skipped a beat. Our clients they're happy.
Well, great. Thank you, Maria. I'm sorry. Thank you, Veronica. Sorry. So next, Lynn, what do you think are some of the learning nuggets that your company has learned from the pandemic and the COVID?
Sure. Thank you. Wow. So unlike kind of the benefit of going last year is I'm thinking through, unlike Maria and Veronica, although our company is global and we're nationally working, I didn't have the luxury of a template to work with from a Blue Cross Blue Shield organizational structure, and we didn't have that core value template to work with. So we had to kind of make it up as we go. And I've heard the words pivot and nimble used, and they're such great words in this time that we're in. Of course, our industry has suffered like everyone else with the COVID crisis. I tend to like to focus on the silver lining that comes along with it. For instance, I work in critical infrastructure, and as a sort of a joke, I remember back in April maybe getting my letter that was the cybersecurity critical infrastructure letter that all of us essential personnel were supposed to keep in our vehicles in case we got pulled over for why we were out on the road. And I wore it like such a badge of honor, hoping I would get pulled over and say, here's my letter. I'm allowed to be out and going into the office. But with that came some stumbling stones. I look back on an interview I did with local media back in May, and I was talking about how our more than almost 500 employees so far, we had not been impacted by COVID, and we had no positive cases. And then sure enough, come, July, after July 4th, we struggled with, up to 50 and 60 people out at a time. But back to the silver lining, again, with regard to roadworks construction, we have a lot of the roadways tied up with major construction in Corpus Christi, and we found it to be a true benefit to have reduced traffic, and we really powered through and worked through that time. And we really had to connect with our subcontractors, because if one crew member was sick for one of our subcontractors, we scheduled things weeks and months ahead, and we had to find places to shift work around to fill voids where we were missing a crew or we had to stall that construction. Again, back to the silver lining, working in communications, I'm so thankful that I've been able to come in to the office and go out into the field every day. It's such a lonely world with both my children off to college. I didn't want to be home working all day. I did have to spend a couple of weeks working from home in quarantine, and my dog liked it, but I couldn't stand it. So I'm so thankful that I've been able to wear this badge and continue working through this pandemic. From a communications standpoint, it's caused me to really think through options going forward and consulting and how we can work so closely with people on the other side of the state by these virtual meetings, and how we learn to connect with people even though we lack that in-person connection. And I just think that it's made me appreciate my colleagues so much more. And I kind of scratched my head coming into this job last summer. Why do we need 8 or 9 safety managers? Do I have a whole new appreciation for our safety crew and what they do and the details of the important details of their job?
Great. Yes, definitely. Safety is important in all aspects of our jobs and just throughout our days. But I can definitely relate to you when everyone was categorized as essential and non-essential, because it's like, baby, I've been essential. Even before the COVID, I've been essential. But no, thank you so much. And I like how you said that it actually helped your construction field because there was less vehicles on the road. That's something I hadn't thought about. But yes, thank you. So now we're going to turn it right back over to Maria. And Maria, can you tell us how we can, what systems in your field of work have you developed to better support the essential workers during this challenging time?
Yeah, so this is really where I think the better opportunity out of all of this came out. So for us in our field, I mean, for as long as I can remember, not just with Essential, but I think a lot of our minority members, creating that that relationship between them and their primary doctor has been something that has been lagging. So for most people, they have a home, right? A physician that they can call on or go to. But for so many of us in the underserved communities or minority communities, and a lot of where these essential workers fall, they don't have that relationship with their doctor. So for us, it was very critical to work with our clients again, because most of our clients in the area that I work in are self-insured. So they're self-administered plans. They basically tell us what they want to cover, and we basically carry out their wishes. So for us, it was an opportunity to ensure that they had access to telemedicine and to also roll that out and ensure their members knew how to access it. You got to think a lot of the underserved and again, minority communities are not going to want to go see the doctor. Oh, I'm fine. I've got a holistic way of handling it. Initially, to Veronica's point earlier of dismissing or unmasking, right, the misinformation of it's a flu, it's another level of a flu. No, this is not a flu. This is COVID-19 virus that can harm you a lot more than just a flu. And treating it as such and understanding it as such and having, again, those measures for these clients, employers, and then members to have access to telemedicine and knowing how to reach out, that they could do either FaceTime, they could do video, or they could call on the phone and give them their symptoms. And more importantly, I think for our Latino community was having the ability to be able to speak Spanish, I think was a big critical point. And again, just that entry point to that access to care was our greatest opportunity. And then ensuring that, again, that communication just continued to follow, because it was for a lot of our clients something new that they had to communicate to their members.
Great. Thank you so much, Maria. Veronica, can you tell us what are some challenges that your company has faced in trying to keep their staff safe and educated for the COVID?
Yes. Well, I think more so instead of focusing on COVID, and because I feel like our team, we talk a lot about safety. Every meeting, we meet weekly. So, because we're all still virtual, we tend to have more focus on just that personal, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. How are things? And just that camaraderie, you got to kind of harness it. So really for us, it wasn't so much as, a COVID situation or that any of us were sick. Of course, we still share that training and we share that information. But for us, it was like, we're still a family, we still work together. And it's just that whole new dynamic of being virtual that we really just had to embrace. And we've had some really great virtual lunches. We've celebrated birthdays, virtually. We're going to have our Christmas party virtually. So it's just again, that shift. How can we figure this out? What are we going to do different? Because this is a thing. It's not going away right now. And just figuring it out, really. Yeah.
Great. Yes. It's funny how we've just adapted to, drive-through birthday parties, drive-through baby showers. I had recently visited my family in the Valley, and oh my God, they are extra. The cars literally walk through like a big balloon piece, and it's still a big event. But yes, I like how everyone has just kind of adapted to digital meetings and just worked well with the systems that we have. So, Lynn, what can communities do to support your efforts for COVID?
The word community is such an important part of that phrase, because everywhere we go, whether it's our career, our construction company, our church, our grocery store, everything about our community is in front of us at all times. And we have to work together to get through this pandemic. I think it's a Charles Darwin quote that says, it's not the strongest species, but the ones most adaptable to change who survive. And being adaptable has what it's taken. From my standpoint, working in construction, it's asking our stakeholders to be adaptable to our changes, from our relationships with the city and the county and the port, we have to be adaptable to our subcontractors' schedules and accommodate changes. And that fluidity is what keeps us going, the ability to adapt.
Great, thank you, Lynn. We're going to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right here waiting for you.
Hello, my name is Angela Berry Robertson, and I'm the Director of Diversity Contract Compliance for Ferrovial Construction and Weber. We are proud to be this year's presenting sponsor for the Luna Awards Speaker Series. As a past recipient of a Luna Awards, we want to congratulate all the nominees. We, again, Ferrovial and Weber, are proud to celebrate the achievements of women in construction along with the Regional Hispanic Contractors Association.
Welcome back to the amazing Luna Awards Digital Speaker Series. And again, we have three amazing trailblazing women. We have Maria, Veronica, and Lynn. So I'm going to pose this question, and then any one of you can answer. But tell me the ways that we can support you and your company in educating essential workers and their families through these times of COVID. And then also, if there's anything else that you would like to add to the conversation, please feel free to do so and share with us.
So I'll start off, Zoraida, if that's okay. So one of the things that we have realized, so it's not just about the access to care for your well-being, but more importantly, also for the mental health. Pandemics such as this can impact, as Lynn was stating, your entire world, your entire community. Everywhere you look, no one is immune from this. So really trying to focus and understand how to access something like mental health that has had a stigma tied to it. And for many of our minority communities, it's even a bigger stigma. So removing that, making it easy for them to call on the mental health advocates that are available out there, and just knowing that it's okay to ask for help. There is a lot going on, especially when you take a step back and you look at the role the women in a lot of these family units has taken on. So for not saying the men haven't stepped up, but I think more than not, it's a lot of these extra roles have fallen on the woman, right? So ensuring that the kids have the proper access to their learning activities, because a lot of them, as Veronica stated in her workforce, went virtual. So as we well know, a lot of our schools and colleges went virtual. A lot of our workplaces went virtual. So now we're having to share, right, that kitchen table if we didn't have an office in our house, to come together and understand how we make it work. And that, of course, takes a toll on your mental stability. And from our perspective, I think our community needs to understand that it's okay to need that help and get that help when it's needed. So from that perspective, it's not just the wellness and well-being, but also the mental well-being of our essential workers, where we can really start helping removing those stigmas and making it part of our conversation and making it okay to get the help that they need.
Wow, that's amazing, Maria, because really there's various types of women. There's the women that lost their jobs because of this pandemic. There's the woman who has worked outside of their home and now she has to work inside the home, plus also while working, taking care of her kids. And then you have the woman who never stopped working, who always kept on going to work, but yet her kids were at home having to be quarantined also. And it's good to recognize that, like Lynn had said earlier, we can all adapt, because behind the smile, there's a whole lot going on with us as women. So thank you for bringing up the mental subject, because it could definitely take a toll even on the strongest of us, having to adapt and do these shifts in our families and in our jobs and just in our daily lives.
So, Rita, if I could expand upon that, I think the question was originally, what can the Luna group and other groups do to help us? And I think the topic is more of what can we as leaders, as women, do to help others in this? And I speak to a lot of groups throughout the day, and some of those are disenfranchised groups. I serve on the board of directors for CCRTA, and commuter mobility and pedestrian mobility are always our topics of concern. What is our outreach? How are we moving people to and from their jobs? And I think that as leaders and women, it's important to not talk about, oh, I learned how to write and public speak. It's important to talk about what are our own personal tools, what's in our tool chest. For example, I tell people, my tool chest is, I am a wannabe engineer. I am not good at calculus and trigonometry like you are in a petroleum or chemical engineering degree. That's why I chose communications and business. But I capture tools such as, I carry a second phone, a work phone, everywhere I go. And in this pandemic, I've learned, instead of trying to always write down what I'm learning and missing the moment, I record conversations, I record presentations. When I'm talking to my work colleagues and they're explaining how to build a delta frame or why we are pouring different types of aggregate into an abutment wall, I record those conversations and I go back and I listen, and then I make my notes and then I write them down. And another tool that I have is, since I was new to construction last year, I was hearing all these acronyms and words that I didn't know what they were and what they meant. So I started up to about 350 acronyms and industry language that I have this running list that I keep open on one of my monitors all the time. And now I have these men in our fields and these people that I work with come in and ask me, hey, would you forward me that? Would you send me that secret email, that secret list that you have? And I just encourage you to, us as women, I think we need to get away from the stigma that we have something to prove. And I think that we need to give men a chance, because they're easier to penetrate than we give them credit for. Once we show them that we're serious and we're here to do a job, I think they're more likely to take us seriously. I'm finding that more and more working in a male-dominated industry. And one last thing I recommend that we do for others is, I think that when we really find a way to cultivate our relationships with our colleagues, such as find one distinct characteristic about someone you work with and subtly encourage that trait in that person, and it's just a rewarding thing to see evolve. So that was kind of all over the place, but I think it touches on the need for, leadership and our power as women.
No, Lynn, this is Marie, and you bring up a good point, right? It's all about that adaptability and being nimble to learn. And although we might not know everything in our field, it's about doubling up, right, on those things we do know. And how do we bring that through?
Sometimes it helps just to know a little bit about a lot of topics, just to have certain topics to converse on. You don't have to know how to do trigonometry. Just know a little bit about addition and multiplication.
Yep. And I think as women, that is the beauty of this, right? Is to, how do we help each other? Even though I might not know exactly what you do, but how can we connect and what can I learn from you? I think it's that whole give and take. And again, we don't have to be experts at everything, but the things you are good at, and again, using your tool chest, double up on those and see how some of the things you do can help others.
And those are great points. I'm always looking for new things to learn, like learning por vida, right? That's what I do. There's always something to learn. I have so many amazing people around me that I learn from, and it's just one of the things that I feel like this Luna Awards, I've been in this realm for a few years, helping, on the marketing committee, and it's just a way to celebrate women in construction engineering. It's wonderful. And we have to remember how awesome women are. We're awesome. We can do a lot. We can do a lot of things. We're strong, we're smart, and we can do it all at the same time, right? We can do this and that and this. And I told my husband the other day, look, if you ask me for something, I'm busy. I know I'm busy, but I'll get to it. Usually it's like he'll ask me for something and I'll get it done right away, but now he has to wait a little bit longer so that, I have, because I'm doing so many things now, working at home. And then my daughter, she's sitting right next to me having class virtually. And again, it's just adapting, figuring it out. And we have it in us to figure it out because we're women. We can do it. We can do everything.
Yeah, and the resiliency, right? The ability to be able to just pick up and run with the situation no matter what it is. I think that is a gift that most women have, right? Is that ability to take it, own it, and carry it out. That I think has a lot of value.
One of the things you mentioned too was about mental health. I think that's huge, especially in our community. But what I do, when we were at home, we've been at home since March, and I freaked out at first. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be at home, and I had to mentally prepare myself for that because home is work in different areas, right? Work with my job at Case Strategies, work being a wife, work being a mother. So all of a sudden I'm like, okay, how can I get mentally okay for this? And when I get overwhelmed, I check on my other friends. I send out messages, how are y'all doing? So that I don't focus on the fact that, I'm struggling really badly. I have bad days, but in order for me to get out of that, I check on other people. And then they talk to me about what they're going through, and then I'm in a position where I can help them or talk through things with them, which helps me. So, there's nothing like uplifting your sisters, uplifting your friends, letting them know you can do it. I'm going through the same thing, just communication and caring.
Just being there to motivate and support one another, I think it's very important, especially going through this, because you brought up a great point. We were all told, okay, in March, we're going to hunker down, we're going to get through this, but we had no idea 9 months later we would still be here. Now, of course, a lot of us have adapted and figured out, I think our own risk tolerance, right, for the virus and how to handle it and how to manage it. But we didn't know that back in March. So it was that quick pivot to, okay, now our home is going to be our schools, our work, and our home, right? And then how do we make this work? I mean, and if you remember initially, there was, the run, if even just going to the grocery store, that was a big risk, right? We were wiping everything down that came out of that bag before you brought it into your environment. And I think, we have learned a lot, but
I still do that.
Yeah. Lysol it all down, right? Because that's what we do. But I think for many of us, it has taken that opportunity, to your point, to check in on others and see how they're managing and how they're doing things, learning from that and adding to your, kind of peace of mind. You saying, okay, yes, I had a bad day, or yes, a couple of these days, because sometimes it wasn't just one bad day, sometimes it was two bad
Multiple
days. But how do we turn this into a positive, and how do we turn it around, and how do we come out of this, right?
Resiliency.
Yes.
Oh my God, ladies, I am loving this conversation. One last question to wrap up. Can you ladies tell me, how can we help essential workers stay inspired and motivated through these difficult times? We're going to start with Lynn.
I would just encourage the word unique to be at the top of our vocabulary. This is a time to set ourselves apart, to get creative on how we communicate, how we socialize, how we effectively do our jobs. And in order to do that in this pandemic, it takes a unique sensibility to come out and keep ourselves in the forefront and to inspire others.
Wow, amazing, Lynn. Thank you for all the gems that you dropped on us today. Girl, you are amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Likewise.
Maria, how can we help essential workers stay inspired and motivated?
So I would say continue on course. I know a lot of us are tired, are fatigued, but dig in deep. Keep going at it, you know. As I say in Spanish, you know, adelante. We got to go onward and forward. Doing this together, you know, I think we're going to make it through. So just dig in a little deeper and, you know, find that last piece of energy to help us get through.
Yes, thank you.
I would just say that, you know, find that motivation, find your why. What is it that is in you that you have to keep going? What is that thing? For me, my daughter, she talks about wanting to be an engineer almost every day. So I'm here, you know, representing and giving her somebody to look at and say, Mommy did it, I'm gonna do it too, you know, and just keeping other people in mind when you're working and you're trying to figure things out, and ask for help. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, platforms like this are great for people to watch and gain knowledge and to understand, like, hey, you know what, I'm not alone here. I have people to reach out to. So yeah, I'm just thankful to be here and thankful for this opportunity to chat with you ladies.
Yes, thank you, Veronica. And like you said, we are here for you ladies and for whoever is watching this. You are already a step ahead. You are empowering yourself. You are gaining knowledge. You are part of this empowerment community. You can reach out to any of us and at any time for anything that you need. Any of us would be more than happy to help you. Ladies, my pleasure, my honor. Amazing, dropped so much knowledge, so many things. Let's go out into our communities and keep on doing what we do. Keep on being these women of impact. Keep on being these servant leaders. Keep on being the role models that our teen so desperately need. Keep on, opening up about our careers and how we got there and the challenges that got us there. Because, everyone is seeing all these pretty faces, but you know what? There was a lot of doors that closed in my face for me to get here. So thank you so much for being open, for sharing with us what you do, how your companies are impacting our communities. Thank you so much, and see y'all next time.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kamisha Mason, and I'm excited today to get everyone excited about another year of Luna. This year, we are recognizing two key categories, the Outstanding Business Advocate of the Year and the Established Service Firm of the Year. With me, I also have Maricela, and I'd like for you to introduce yourself as well.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maricela Gonzalez. I am representative of the board Hispanic Contractors Association. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Maricela González y yo represento a la mesa directiva de los contratistas hispanos de la construcción.
Nominations for the Outstanding Business Advocate and the Established Firm of the Year are open now until November 30th. So nominate all of the amazing women and advocate in our markets today. Now there's one big difference between these two categories. The established firm must be owned by a woman, and that person must own at least 51% of the business. The Business Advocate Award is open to everybody, so please, again, nominate. We look forward to recognizing all of our nominees and our winners on December 17th at our annual Luna Awards.
Please join me in thanking our Luna ambassadors for hosting today, Luna Speaker Tour. This event could not happen without your support and leadership. Thank you everybody for the support.